Prismo is the guy everyone wants to be around, the ultimate chill friend who has everything figured out. But being everyone's chill friend is actually one of the most dangerous things you can be.
I'm sorry I took you for granted.
And Prismo's story shows us exactly why. It all started in the Time Room, where the coolest cosmic being was just granted the worst wish imaginable. We first meet Prismo when Finn and Jake arrive chasing the Lich through a dimensional portal, only to discover they're too late. The Lich has already made his wish, which is the extinction of all life, and Prismo has to grant it. That's his job. That's what he exists for. And when it's done, the Lich just leaves. No thank you or conversation, just takes what he wanted and disappears back through the portal. Not sure if he would have even been a nice conversational partner, but after granting the wish, Prismo is alone again. That's how it always goes. People visit the Time Room when they need something, they make their wish, and then they leave. Prismo is the most powerful vending machine in existence, and just as lonely. But in Jake the Dog, when Jake ends up back in the Time Room, we see something completely different. Jake doesn't immediately demand his wish or anything, instead he just hangs out in a cosmic jacuzzi with Prismo and the Cosmic Owl, spitting rap bars.
We're three nice dudes having fun. We got warm bubble water on our buns. I love this spa, and that's a fact, but if I stay too long, I get a pruny back.
This is what makes Jake special. He sees Prismo as a person, not a cosmic vending machine for anything he could desire, which in any case would just be a sandwich. But what makes this friendship special is also how Prismo treats Jake in return. When Jake casually wishes for that sandwich, Prismo immediately stops Jake.
A sandwich? You're gonna waste your one wish on a sandwich? You don't want anything else?
When Jake insists, though, Prismo just makes him a sandwich for free with his own hands, rather than let him waste something so precious. Then he gives Jake some of his homemade pickles, because that's what Prismo does. He takes care of his friends. And when Finn is in real danger in the wish-altered reality, Jake wishes that Finn would be safe, but Prismo stops him then, too, explaining that the wish he grants always comes with an ironic consequence or twist, and that it could make a well-intentioned wish turn out terribly. Monkey paw stuff. And he warned him ahead of time.
You see, Jake, there's rules to this stuff. Wishing an event to be changes elements before and after it.
Despite having such awesome power, Prismo takes the time to teach Jake the exact wording to save both Finn and their entire universe. He cares about them. Later, Jake puts it perfectly.
I'm serious, man. You're like a strong number 3 on my cool guys list.
But then, Prismo reveals something he doesn't tell most visitors. Something vulnerable.
Prismo is nothing but the dream of a wrinkly old man.
So wait, what happens to you when we wake him up?
Poof, I'm a goner. Thus ends mighty Prismo.
He tells Finn and Jake the truth about his existence, that in reality, he's fragile, that he could disappear at any moment because he's just a dream. And to many, Prismo is simply a cosmic tool, too, just a delicate dream person to give out wishes to whomever asks. Other people only visit him when they need something from him. But Jake visits because he actually enjoys Prismo's company. In Hoots, we see more of who Prismo really is when he's not granting wishes. He plays the banjo, he throws hot tub parties, he talks about why he avoids romantic relationships.
I don't want to have a discussion about what we're gonna have for dinner every night.
This reveals that Prismo is terrified of complicated relationships, so he's trying to just keep things simple and chill. Maybe he'll find someone for him eventually. Besides Jake, he only has one other real friendship, the Cosmic Owl. They seem to vibe together pretty well a lot of the time. There's others that show up to his parties, like Old's Death, Grob Gob Globgrod, the Party God, Peppermint Butler, and some more, but those don't seem as close to Prismo. He just seems like a really popular guy, but maybe it's only because people want something from him? But it is safe to say that Jake, the Cosmic Owl, and the homemade pickles in the dedicated pickle room are potentially the only things in Prismo's existence that are his, that aren't part of his job, that he can have relationships with or pursue in his off time. Even friendships have limits, though, when you're a cosmic wishmaster. In Crossover, Prismo casually mentions something that changes everything. He has a boss. For the first time, we realize that Prismo isn't just doing this of his own volition. He's not free. He's an employee. There are rules to this. There's oversight. There are consequences for breaking protocol. This moment matters because it establishes that Prismo will break rules for people he cares about, and that choice will nearly destroy him later. Now, because of his carefree attitude, Prismo never says outright that he's lonely, but his behavior I think makes it pretty clear that these nights in the time room with Jake are the closest thing he has to real companionship. And that friendship becomes the most important thing in Prismo's existence, which makes what happens next even more devastating. When Finn discovers his human father is imprisoned in the Citadel, he turns to Prismo for help. But there's a problem. You can only get to the Citadel by committing a cosmic crime. So Prismo offers a solution with that same relaxed, helpful tone he always uses.
Killing a Wishmaster is a cosmic crime. Once I'm dead, the Guardian will show up and take you to the Citadel.
Prismo just casually asks his friends to kill him with that same relaxed tone because this is just what Prismo does. He's helping his friends, even when it would cost him everything. But then, everything does go wrong. The Lich intervenes, grabbing the old man and waking him up first, stealing their cosmic crime.
Wait, I've changed my mind!
At the last second, facing actual death, Prismo changes his mind. He wants to live. But the Lich murders the old man and turns him into some toxic ash anyway. Jake's reaction is pure rage.
Lich, I'm gonna kill you!
For the first time, we see how much their friendship meant to Jake, too. Prismo was more than a Wishmaster, he was genuinely loved as a friend and fellow. After they escape the Citadel, Jake is left with a new reality. Prismo is gone, and they got nothing from it. The time room sits empty. No hot tub, no pickles, no cosmic bro making sandwiches and warning you about ironic cosmic consequences. Just silence. And that silence becomes the source of something horrifying. They create their own desperate magical ritual to bring Prismo back. They sing a memorial song while performing a ritual involving Prismo's last jar of pickles. Jake can barely get through it.
I can't do this, man. It just can't be over.
They end with Jake eating the last of Prismo's homemade pickles while hoping that if they fall asleep thinking about Prismo, they can somehow dream him back to life. And their homemade ceremony accidentally triggers something real. Jake falls asleep and finds himself in a dream version of the time room. And there's Prismo, or a ghost of him, with actual instructions for Plan B. The plan requires Jake to travel through time, create a paradox, and ensure an alternate version of himself stays asleep in the cosmic bed forever. One Jake must die so Prismo can live. And Jake does it, without hesitation, because that's what you do for one of your bestest of friends. When Prismo resurrects, his first words aren't relief or joy.
Dude, I can't believe I died. Jake, I'm sorry, man. This doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right because of what the resurrection cost. Now, Prismo can never quit being the helpful cosmic bro because an alternate Jake is trapped in eternity just for him, to keep him alive. And Prismo has to live with that knowledge forever. The guilt is permanent, unspoken, and crushing. Because if he stops, Jake's sacrifice becomes meaningless, even if it was an alternate time version of him which turned into a different old man that actually dreamt Prismo. But there's something else Prismo has to live with, and that's his limits. In You Forgot Your Floaties, we see a flashback of Magic Man visiting Prismo, desperate to wish back his girlfriend Margles from Golb's realm. Prismo has to tell him no, it can't be done. Golb is beyond even his power. Some losses are permanent. This moment matters because it establishes that Prismo isn't even close to all-powerful. There are things even the Wishmaster can't fix. And remember this, because years later, Simon will stand in the same room asking for the same impossible thing, and Prismo will have to say no again. But besides those situations, Prismo still makes pickles, still grants wishes with that lazy smile. And then the worst thing happens. Jake dies, and Prismo completely falls apart. In Fiona and Cake Season 1, we see what grief does to the chillest guy in existence. He sits in the tub growing an unkempt beard and spends his days obsessively rewatching old Finn and Jake adventures on loop. That's when he makes the biggest mistake of his cosmic existence. Instead of trying to process his grief in a healthy way, Prismo channels it into some unhealthy creation.
But after eons of making stuff for others, I wondered what it would be like to make something for myself.
He creates Fiona and Cake, his own fanfiction universe. And for the first time in his existence, Prismo gets to be creative instead of just functional. He writes about their adventures, gives them romance, recreates everything he lost when Jake died in these new characters that sprang from the mind of a genius. And there's a problem.
Okay, so technically, I'm not supposed to make stuff for myself.
So he hides it in the emptiest, most cursed magical brain in all of Ooh, Ice King's head, the genius madman, and stores his secret universe there where no one will ever find it. And everything works perfectly until Simon gets cured. Without the crown's magic, Fiona and Cake's world loses its magic too. And this is when the Scarab arrives. He's a god auditor, a cosmic law enforcement agent, and he discovers Prismo's unauthorized universe.
And if he finds out about you, he's gonna report me, and then my boss is gonna drop the hammer.
Everything Prismo created, everyone he cared about now, is about to be destroyed because he just wanted to dare to want something for himself after his devastating loss of his friend. So he splits himself in two. One version to help Fiona, Cake, and Simon escape, while the other desperately tries to hold off Scarab. The Scarab ends up on top though, trapping him in a cube, trying to destroy everything Prismo created. The Wishmaster is completely powerless here. But Prismo buys them just enough time to run, just enough time to survive. Everything comes to a head in Cheers. Prismo breaks free from his cube prison of his own volition. His face glitches and distorts, visible evidence of the damage this fight has cost him. He calls in help from every universe Fiona and Cake visited, friends they made, people they helped, all coming together to stop Scarab. And they win! But what happens next is more important than the victory. Fiona's universe is canonized into reality. The Scarab is defeated and becomes Prismo's apprentice, and has to do some odd chores here and there. And I think that's where Prismo does something that really defines who he is. He could punish Scarab. He could make his life miserable. He could get his revenge for the imprisonment, the hunting, the attempted destruction of everything he loved. Instead, Prismo just teaches him and becomes his pal. He takes Scarab under his wing and shows him the joy of creating worlds instead of just enforcing the existing hierarchical rules and destroying things. But victory also comes at a cost. Now, every wish Prismo grants is watched carefully. Every moment of what used to be his secret sanctuary is shared with someone who tried to destroy everyone he loved. The time room isn't his anymore. And slowly, quietly, that constant surveillance starts breaking the very thing that makes Prismo who he is. Time passes, and the damage from escaping Scarab's cube is worse. Prismo's face glitches more frequently now, like a broken screen. When Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, and Simon arrive needing help to save Finn from poison, Prismo can barely hide what's happening anymore.
So lately, I'm having kind of a wish-granting problem. Look. Sorry, guys. I got no wish zazzle left.
His core function, the very thing he exists to do, is failing. The Wishmaster can't grant wishes anymore. We don't know why yet. We can't tell. Maybe it's the accumulated damage from his fight with the Scarab, maybe the psychological weight of the constant surveillance from his former enemy, or maybe his boss did something, which would be exactly what Prismo feared, and dropped the hammer by quietly breaking the very thing that made him useful, just to have him sit there and take up a position. We don't really know, but we're interested to hear what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What else can Prismo do, though? Some people become what everyone needs, and then they can't stop being that even when it's killing them. Prismo's entire existence depends on being useful to others. He can't quit, he can't take a break, can't even admit that he's breaking down or what his feelings are, because if he stops pretending to be fine, he has to face the truth. He's trapped in a role that is literally killing him, and he can never leave. In The Insect That Sang, we see just how broken Prismo really is. Fiona needs his help during a cosmic trial. Lives are at stake, and during her testimony, she tells Orbo to call her fake dad Prismo. But Prismo can't even respond, because he's too grief-stricken over the Cosmic Owl's death to help with her testimony. First Jake, and now the Cosmic Owl, two of his best friends.
I thought Jake was my number one, but you've always been there for me, Hoots. I'm sorry I took you for granted.
Remember Cosmic Owl, the friend from Adventure Time who vibed in the hot tub with them, made music with Prismo, who understood that cosmic loneliness? He's dead now too. Everyone Prismo loved is gone. And Prismo is so devastated, so completely paralyzed by grief that he can't function. Prismo has lost Jake, he's lost the Cosmic Owl, lost his wish-granting powers, lost his privacy, lost his sanctuary, everything. And now he's even losing the ability to pretend that he's okay. The saddest part isn't that Prismo is going through some heavy emotional grief, it's that he's so good at seeming fine most of the time that nobody asks if the Wishmaster needs a wish of his own. Prismo will keep being the helpful cosmic bro until whatever is breaking him finally completes the task. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, because if you like and subscribe, you'll find out that his story teaches us something profound about dealing with grief. If you want to figure out what that is, click here to watch it.